Hey everyone, welcome back to Painted Studio. I'm Maury Curtis Dunbar, your mistress of mess making, who just stuck her elbows on a board with foil adhesive, so I just proved how messy I am. Anyway, it is Thursday. It is 2 days before the 4th of July. I know many people are taking tomorrow off. We're not, we'll be here. But we're going to take off Saturday, so we will be closed on Saturday for the 4th. I'm actually going to take an extra day off and park myself in my blow-up pool in my backyard with a cocktail and a good book, and that's how I'm going to spend my entire 4th of July weekend. So I'm very excited about that. I know, it's the little things that get me all excited now. As you can tell, it's hot here, so I hope you all are staying cool where you are. And today we're going to start a couple new projects, but we're also going to introduce you to a couple brand new products, or I should say stencils, that we just literally got in today. My friend Renee Holder, two chatty chicks, eclectic painting. It's got a longer name, and unfortunately, I know Renee. I can't remember the name past Two Chatty Chicks Eclectic. So, Renee, if you're on here, post the name of your company, please. And she's doing stencil designs, and they're divine, and they're furniture size, so they're perfect for what we're doing. And I happen to be one of the very first people to bring them in. So, her first two designs. She has a third one. It's not appropriate for the stencils for our studio because it's a little on the big side, but it is gorgeous. But her first two designs coming in for us. Hey Renee, please post the name of your company since I'm an idiot and can't remember the whole thing. Renee popped in. I just saw her name show up. Okay, so this is the elephant stencil. Yes, you can see my face. Look how beautiful and detailed that is. And this is the Peacock Stencil. They are both already on our website and ready for you to order. So we're going to start doing a few finishes with foils with our new stencils. So I'm going to flip it down. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time now chatting now that I've got this. We'll start with the Peacock. Now our background here is set coat. I think this is royal taupe. Don't ask me to be sure about that because I have no memory. I'm just basically centering my stencil in this board. This board has had set coat. Let me lift this up because I didn't square it away. This board, polystyrene, has set coat. I know, Renee, I'm a piece of work. What can I tell you, honey? We all know this. Anybody who knows me for very long knows I'm something of a character and definitely a disaster on some days. All right, so what's on here is a coating of set coat royal taupe. Then we rolled on with a 1/4-inch nap roller, applying our Artsyville foil adhesive. And then we let it set up for over an hour. And I'm just gonna I'm just trying for square, if nothing else, because this board, I have a bin in the front of my studio for my clientele to see of all my sample boards. And you'd be amazed. They really, really just love it. Maybe if I put this the right side up too, because believe it or not, stencils can have a right side up. It's usually if there's a name printed in the corner, you want to be able to read the name. And of course, I didn't do that. So we're going to go for as straight as possible. This is probably the most time I've spent in months squaring up a stencil. And then we're going to use a fun foil to release it. I think we're going to use, look at our disco foil. I love this. Is holographic. I love this. This is called Kaleidoscope. Our new Kaleidoscope, and I think this will be fun. And I'm not going to worry about the background because basically I'm going to fill this background in. I have figured out many ways of doing things over the years. Usually I may do them in ways that make my own life more challenging. Okay, and this the stencils are 12 by 12, and the images in them are about 10.5 by 10.5. approximately. Don't get yourself in your knickers in a knot if it's not exactly that. God, that's my sister's phrase, knickers in a knot. I haven't used that one in a long time. All right, so that's our new kaleidoscope. And I want to make sure, because this kaleidoscope has a striation, if I want to use it for the background, then I'm going to make sure I place this carefully within the area I want to stencil, and I'm going to trim it a little bit on either side, which isn't easy because I have a little bit of a breeze going on in the background, and this stuff wants to flap around a little. I'm just making it a little narrower so that I can set this on here without having it go over. All right, I just want to trim a little more. You all know, normally I'm not this careful with my stuff. Normally I'm a little more slapdash, which works just fine. But I also have learned that when you gotta be careful, you gotta be careful. Just is what it is. So I'm trimming this down a little bit to make sure I can get it here. And then I'm going to make my own life easier after I've applied this. Yeah, let's do it this way. I'm going to keep all those stripes going in the same way. All right, I'm just tacking this down with my fingers into the openings, and then I'm going to go back and take my foil, and I'm going to actually, isn't this killer? Don't get your drawers in a knot. Yep, that's me. My sister used to say, don't get your knickers in a knot all the time. She made me crazy with it too. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You're not English. You don't wear knickers. You wear underwear. Then again, I used to go to the UK, so she might have been having a memory moment. Now you can see what happens when you get your adhesive stuck on the wrong side. So now you know what to do. Rip off. Rip it off. Now, I probably didn't cut this long enough, knowing me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in the center here. I'll get the bottom. I'll get the top. I'm trying to create a work surface that I can rest my arm on and not have my arm stick to the foil adhesive. If you're wondering why I'm doing this bit of background here before I do the actual stencil. Oh gosh, that release is good. Darn, that's good looking. And that's why. I need a place to be able to set my arm down so that I can work on this pattern and not glue my arm to the surface. That's not one of my more attractive qualities if I do that. Just getting this down on here. Obviously, I'm not really doing a great job. How the heck did I end up with two pieces? Oh, I see what I did. I lifted that up by mistake. Oops. Oh well. Where's the foil? A little longer piece than I cut the last time. Let's go over here. I gotta overlap my colors to match the striping, which isn't really that hard to do because these are very wide bands. Right here, there was a really bumpy spot. It doesn't want to be foiled. Because, yeah, sometimes I don't, pay attention too hard when I do sample boards of how I've applied my foil adhesive. And this is strictly a sample board issue. When I do a job, I am so careful. When I do samples, not so much. And I do that for a couple reasons. One of them being that imperfection is a natural part of the painting process. So if I don't have some flaws in my samples, my client expects me to finish stuff like a machine and just have it generated without a flaw. And quite frankly, the flaws are a big part of a hand-painted finish. You want them there. They're part of the interest. All right, I'm going to take another piece, go on this other side, and then we can move on with the stencil. I know you're wondering, what the heck? You're using this on the stencil, you're using this in the background. How are we going to see the stencil? I'll show you. I promise you, I actually do have a plan. Whether I execute it correctly, well, that's a different story. We'll find out. Extra rub in some spots. So see, up here where there's stuff missing, that's actually not short of foil adhesive. What happened right there is that, again, there's texture there that somehow I got on this board. I don't know how, don't ask me how, it's just there. So I have to kind of come in and try to clean up some of the bad spots a little bit. And I'm just gonna, I know I've got my foil upside down, so I'm sort of fighting myself with the colors. Probably just turn it upside down and make my own. I'm doing this the hard way by not just going like that all the way at the top. And it's because the can of foil was there and I was trying not to have stuff stick to the can of foil. So I'm sticking this down right where we had some bad spots, but there is texture under there. I mean, it's like, the other side of this sample board, I had done a plaster finish on it. And so there's a little plaster on this side. Yep, and see, that just doesn't want to grab there because I got crud on it. Just is what it is. The only way for me to fix that, kind of go in there with my nails, scrub a little bit. All right, so how exciting was that? You watch me foil the background of a board. Let me grab my scrubber and let's go in on this peacock pattern here. All right, so I've got this scrubbed in, but that peacock pattern has a lot of detail. So I'm taking my little, what the hell do we call this? A stylus. And I'm going around it and getting into all the details. And I feel this thing out and I go in and around. You know, my first demo would have been faster had I done paint, but no, I can't do that way. I have to make some challenges. I like all these little cutouts and I want you to see the wonderful detail of how it's going to release. So we could, you know, just be patient because we could be here for a while today. Let's get that in there. I'm just sort of feeling it with my fingers and then outlining it with the stylus because then that'll give me a wider, more boldly released foil pattern on here. I do not have to have a stylus to go to the edge of any of these patterns. I just like it because when we have all these little tiny details, it allows the details to become more prominent and it allows for every little bit to be filled in. I feel like I should just shut up and play some music in the background, but then we get into those weird Facebook licensing of music issues and then they stop showing my video and yeah, that is actually a thing I've had happen. I had my music playing in the background and they had to take my video down because I didn't have license to have that music playing on a video.
And I understand it. I respect the artist's right to earn a living. But that means now that my videos are quieter. Now, if you can tell that my head is down looking at what I'm doing. So if you're asking questions and I miss it, I will go back and write it down. The answers to your questions that you have posted. And even if I see them and answer them verbally, I like to go back and write out the answers, because sometimes the answers are more understandable when I've written them out than when I've said them, because I'm not distracted. I'm not doing two things at once. So you can see I'm finding all the little details, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling back the foil to find the openings, because there's a lot of them. So we might not get to the second stencil today. And again, we might, because this one's going to take a while doing it this way. I'm going to grab my toothbrush. Let me see if I can get a little bit of this done this way. Just at least some of the bigger shapes would make my own life a little easier. Oh, I can already see the peacock starting to form. I love this stencil. I think this is going to be so great on so many pieces. You can use them on desks and on dressers and on walls and on floors and anything else that you can get your imagination into with this pattern. I think it's a darling one. Okay, I will honestly say I didn't think enough about the time constraints that this would take on a video, so we're just gonna go with it. I may take a moment, get my hands out of this, and go and look for my channel on my iPad so that I can look up and answer questions, because with the camera down I can't see everything. I'm just feeling around for little dots and spots here. Pull my foil back just a little and look for the design details. I love when I get a big design stencil spot and I can just work it all out instead of all these little ones that make me cuckoo. Then again, some might say I was already there. There's a wonderful meme out that kind of applies to a lot of stuff in my life, and it says, in our family we don't hide the crazy up in a room or in an asylum. We put it out on the front porch, hand it a cocktail, and introduce it to the neighbors. I think that's pretty much me some days. Some days I'm just very normal. I think the more the quieter the world gets with everything, I get a little more nutty. So does the fact that I'm talking a lot on videos to nobody, meaning that there's nobody here immediately to respond. Like it's not a conversation. So I think sometimes all this talking to what feels like myself sometimes gets a little odd. How are you all doing with that? Are you talking to yourself more? I do a lot of stuff now that I didn't used to do quite so much, like talking to myself. Although I will tell you, I come from a family of people who talk to themselves. My mother, you used to know where she was in the house all the time. She just muttered, like, wandered around and she's grumble, grumble, grumble all the time. My sister was the same way, and so am I. And even my son does it. It's actually kind of funny because we don't realize we're doing it. And we have like conversations going on in our head. And if somebody's nearby, we're trying not to say stuff out loud. And my son will look at me like, Mom, what are you working out? Because your mouth is moving again. It's like you're talking to yourself again. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm talking to myself so nobody else has to hear it. Now, obviously, if you're doing this with paint, you're not having to do these little details the way I am. If you're using paint will go through this very quickly. The foils just take a little time because you have a lot of little details to work out. And what's awesome is this little stylus, they have little bald ends on them, and you can get these off of Amazon and eBay and stuff like that. In this foil, amazing. Thank you, Colleen. I think Colleen's right. This foil is going to make this little peacock guy stand out like crazy. Now, I have like 7 projects lined up to show you all today, so obviously we're not going to get to all of them. But it'll keep me busy because I'll be back doing lives again tomorrow. Other people are taking tomorrow off. We are still here. We will be here tomorrow, but not Saturday. I'm taking Saturday off. And of course, we're normally closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, or Sundays and Mondays. So I'm just taking a nice 3-day weekend out of this. But I will be here tomorrow. You know, we're getting close to the end here. At least I hope we are. Now this kind of stuff, I love little fiddly stuff like this, so I can sit here and do this all freaking day. This makes me so happy. But not everybody loves doing this, so if this is not your style, don't use this stencil for this kind of foiling. Use it for many other wonderful things. Place some tone-on-tone colors in here, soft blends, plasters for great relief. I mean, there's so many ways to use this, and it's so pretty. Okay, I had a phone call come in there for a second. I forgot to lock off my device. So yeah, needless to say, that didn't get answered. Alright, so you can see we're starting to get this pattern showing up. Can you see that at all? Let me see if I can catch this on the reflection. It's not really going to show up in the light. Let me see if I can angle the light a little differently. Maybe that'll catch you some dimension on here. See, there you go. You can see it's starting to grab into the openings for the stencil where I've been doing this. Super, super cute. And again, like I said, you don't have to do this way with this product. I just love this foil. I love the stencil. So I was really excited to show how it was going to release on here. Renee's probably watching in the background going, Jesus, girl, move faster. Because I texted her right before we were going live to tell her I was using the stencils in today's live. So, you know, she was looking forward to seeing how I put them to good use. All right. See,
See, if I pull this up now, you'd only see half of the pattern released. And that's not what I want you all to see. I want you to see the whole darn thing because it's so gorgeous. But there's a lot of detail. So I want to do the whole thing justice. So what I'm doing here, when you see me doing this, I'm feeling around for the openings for the stencils so that I can get my tool in there and press the foil to the adhesive surface so that we can have a good release here. And what that does is it gives me a chance to check and feel for the openings and make sure I don't miss anything, because I can miss stuff. So do not, this is such a fabulous stencil, and Renee has literally just started shipping them out to her vendors. So if you love this stencil, order right away, because I have a feeling it's going to sell like hotcakes. Let's keep going. Let's see if I can feel any more details in here. There's another bit. And there's some more right there. Now I fully expect when I lift this up, I will have spots that I've missed, because I'm working in sort of a hit or miss fashion with this right now. And right now I'm just hoping I've got everything. I won't know if I've got it all or not until I lift this up. Finally getting towards the top of this, getting into the last of the little tiny details. Now, if anybody's actually interested in me bringing in these tools, let me know. I haven't brought them in, but I can if you want. I've had this one for so long I couldn't even tell you where it came from. I can always bring in more. All right, let's get this side, get all those little details. This is going to be the tough spot, right up here, right in here. Fortunately, the stylus has a big end and a small end, and I'm going to need the smaller end to get into all these little details up in here.
I know this is not for somebody who doesn't have patience. And honestly, I could sit here all day and do this kind of stuff. This is like what calms me down, unless I'm doing it on camera and then I just want it to be done fast. I'm actually starting to sweat because I feel like it's taking too long for you all to watch me keep doing this. Like, seriously, my hands are starting to sweat right now. Oh, damp, clammy palms. Oh, hi, Rosie. Hi, Karen. Nice to see all of you guys. I'm gonna, once I finish working this pattern out, I'll flip the camera up. I'll read some questions. I'll answer some questions. Y'all just gonna have to be patient. This is not a fast one today. There. See, there's so many little details. It's really easy to miss them in here. But they're so beautiful, you don't want to. So do not pay attention. Get all your pattern laid in. Don't miss a spot. Else you'll be sorry you did. All right. So we're almost done up in here. As you see, I'm just rolling my foil back to make sure I don't miss a spot. Now right there, you saw that I had lifted my foil a little bit earlier, so I missed a spot here and I had a bald spot that I had to shift the foil down, piece it in. Not a big deal. Get that in there. Make sure I get all of these little details. You don't want to miss a single one because they're so pretty. There's that there. Okay. Now, I'm telling you, I'm either sweating that this is taking too long while you all are watching me, or I'm having a hot flash. And honest to God, I don't know which one it is. Take your pick. It's July in Chicago, 90 degrees, 90% humidity. It could be anything. All right. Ooh. Ooh, hot arms. We have a couple. I'm making a concerted effort to bring in stencils and stuff from small companies who are just starting out their projects, because I have so many really talented friends who are, because of all that's been going on, they're branching out. So they've been designing stencils and all kinds of cool stuff, and I cannot tell you how much I support that. So we will always have some interesting and unique things here. And high quality, because the people who design this stuff, they know their stuff. You do not want to miss out on this. All right, there we go. We're getting there. Oh, my arm is definitely still sticking to this, even though I tried to avoid that. Why? Because we all know that adhesives stay sticky forever, and that stencils are a flawed release, so you can have cracks. I mean, foil is a flawed release, so you can have cracks in your foils when you release it, and then the adhesive pops through. That's why we always tell you to top coat everything. Right. Getting down to the ends. There's still more on this side, so we're just gonna feel around, work them through. I don't want to miss anything. Trying to get to the edges here. There's a whole lot of stuff right along here that I know I missed. Here, found more spots. More spots to fill in. Like I said, I don't want to miss any. I don't want to lose my design in all of this. All right, so I'm gonna start pulling back, and when I find a spot that I've missed, I'll throw my foil back down and fill it in, because there's gonna be spots. This is a very detailed design, so I know I'm going to have missed spots. Yep, see, I keep finding them. And there will probably be more in the middle, because I couldn't even pull back and find half of what I was, half the details in the middle. So we're getting some nice pattern release here. Let's get down there. Let's see. I want to make sure I've gone over all the openings too, if I can remember to do that, just because I want a good pattern release. So if I see that I have been a little slappy in my application, I'll go back and touch it up. Any of the details, because the details are what make this look amazing. There's a whole lot of little details right there that I didn't even know were there until I lifted this up. There's some little details right there. This is a beautifully intricate design. Let's keep pulling back, and I just like to check my spots and make sure all my releases are good. Grab on. I'm like a little kid sitting here. Thank God you can't see my face, because I'm like sticking my tongue out like I'm learning cursive for the first time. Okay, see, we got a little funny spot of release here. That's where I dropped the foil on the board before I placed my stencil down. And let's get that released nicely, completely. Okay. So you can see this is an intricate pattern. It's gonna look amazing. But again, there is time involved when you're foiling something like this. Okay, there's some little dots here. And there were some here. Oh, I saw them. I just gotta feel them. I feel something there. There they are. Them on this side too. Let's not do that. That would be so disappointing. By the way, if you all would like to not hear me chatter away while I work, you can tell me. I do it just so it's not dead silent while we're watching me do stuff. Every once in a while, you know, a little nugget of information jars loose from my brain. Okay, now do remember that this foil is not, the adhesive is not exterior rated. Foils actually aren't exterior rated either, but that's not quite so much of an issue. The adhesive is specifically not exterior rated. We're doing tests on them on planters and on a table at my house just to see what the breakdown time is. I'm not really happy with right there because it just looks to me like we lost some of the foil. Fill in those spots. I'm just not 100% happy with how those spots released. So that means I just need to go back in. There we go. All right, so now we can pull this up. Grab my X-Acto knife because this has now been pressed on. So, wow, that's a great looking pattern. Okay, let's just take a good look at how cool that is. I mean, that's awesome. And it looks so good on the black. Oh, look at how this is. Oh, that's so good. So now we have to put a color over it and just to fill this in, or we could do something even more fun. Hang on just a sec. Just had an idea. Gosh, I love it. An idea. Okay, so I'm going to take a little mica powder. And we're going to do something on here called flash gilding. Now, this will either come out really well or it'll be a disaster because there is foil adhesive exposed around here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some mica powders and we're going to take a very soft brush and we're going to put the mica powder on in the background. And that's what this is called. When you put mica powder on a surface that has adhesive on it, it's called flash gilding. Big thanks to my friend Michael Gilbert, who actually gave me the correct term for this, because I didn't have one before he told me. And this will obviously adhere to all the sticky spots, but I'm keeping it really careful right here at this edge because I don't want it to go over in here for this one. And then I'm just going to fill in the other adhesive areas with the mica powder.
And again, this is Artsyville foil adhesive. I'm not using anything different than I always use. And well, I don't carry mica powders at the moment because I'm not having anybody looking for them. But if you all want me to carry them, I will. You just have to tell me. I love this color on this too. This purple looks, it's actually called, the color's actually called butterfly blue, but it reads purple over the royal taupe, which I think looks great with what we've already got on here. So I'm just gonna rouge it on, rouging being this swirling motion that I'm using, obviously coming very similar to the term rouge, meaning you rub it on, you know, when you wear rouge on your face, you're rubbing it onto your face. Rouge is another word for, well, actually it's another word for red. It's French for red. But when ladies speak of rouge in a cosmetic manner, they mean blush. And there's a swirling motion to apply blushes or rouges. Therefore, this is called rouging. Now, there may be more history to the term rouging than I know about. I am simply applying it with cosmetic terms that I am familiar with. And again, Michael Gilbert sometimes is generous enough to pop in and throw a little information in. So Michael, if there's more history to, if you catch this and there's more history to the term rouging, please fill us in. He's a font of knowledge, so especially with anything gilding. Very fortunate to know some incredibly gifted gilders. I'm a piker when it comes to gilding compared to some of these people. And I could have taped this off if I had sealed this off. I'm just doing this for our lives so you get the idea of how to do some flash gilding. And I could have done this with gold or any other color mica powder that I had. I just happen to have this butterfly blue. All right. Then I'm going to take a little piece of cotton, which of course I left out of my reach. A little bit. You could use a cotton ball to do this too. And then I just come back in and wipe off the extra. Manipulate any of the loose powder around. Yeah, I could have used a little bigger piece of cotton, but this will do fine. It's just what I pulled out. Got another piece. And I keep big rolls of cotton for myself here in the studio because of the other gilding work I do. You can buy it on Amazon. You can just use cotton balls. You don't have to use rolled cotton like I happen to have right here. All right, so I've taken off all the extra mica powder, I think. So look at how gorgeous that stencil looks through the mica powder with this great foil that's on there. I'm loving this. So we're going to set that one aside. And I think we might work a little differently with the elephant. Actually, we might save the elephant for another day. Why? Because we've been playing with this one for 45 minutes and I have a feeling that I might be done. All right, so I'm sticking my elephant on here. Let me flip the camera up and pull it over to me so that maybe I can read some of your questions. All right. Go Designs. Thank you, Renee. Okay. All right. Okay, you guys are all so sweet. Oh, Gina, yes, fairy godmother, I am using your stencils. So you guys, I'm flipping through. Nobody's asking questions that, quite frankly, Renee hasn't used. Oh. Oh gosh, you guys, you are so sweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the love. We are going to work on our elephant tomorrow. Normally I might stay on longer, but my lives have been running really long lately, so I think I'm shortening up just to give you all a break. So tomorrow we will be back. We will be working with our elephant, but we've also got some other projects we're working with. I picked these up at Target, so we're gonna foil and epoxy these little jars. They call them soup cups, but personally I think, first of all, it's a pretty chintzy serving of soup. Second of all, they're great containers for all kinds of other things, and we'll play with some cups, and we're going to work with our new foils, but we're also going to work with our new elephant stencil. So these are all listed. Oh, did I do anything to the back of the stencil? Okay. Kathy, what's on here? We've already rolled foil adhesive over the entire board. So it's sticking to the board because of the adhesive, not because I put anything on the back of the stencil. So you can, if you're not using an adhesive background, just lightly spray them with any spray adhesive. I use like this, I even use like the strongest spray adhesives from 3M. I just take a little and go quickly, and then I wait a couple minutes. Sorry, you're gonna see my bat wings fly, but when I do that with a stencil, where did I put the other one? Here's the stencil. I'm gonna go, and then like this for several minutes, or I set it aside to let it dry. The reason you do that is because if you put this down when the stencil down, when the spray adhesive that you've applied to the back is still wet, it leaves glue on your surface. If you spray it, set it aside, and let it set up for a while, the adhesive becomes more like repositionable rubber cement, so you can move the stencil around without leaving glue deposits behind. So that's exactly what we're doing with this. Today, we used a surface that already had adhesive applied. Who knows what I'm gonna do tomorrow? And I have a feeling I'm gonna be doing a lot of lives tomorrow because I got a lot of ideas. So you may just be watching me live all day tomorrow. So you'll either be thrilled or sick of seeing me. Have a great Thursday night, everybody. I'm off to get a pedicure in a little while. Maybe I'll take my disco pineapple with me. Maybe I'll take my holographic peacock with me. Turn it the right side more. Holographic peacock with me. So you never know what I'm going to do. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Sprinkle the love, because coming up soon, we're going to be doing contests that count on you using that little arrow button. And there's going to be some good stuff coming up. I'm going to be doing whole kits as giveaways. And they may include rollers. They may include stencils. They may include a lot of stuff. So get in the habit of sprinkling, everybody, because the more you sprinkle, the better the contests get. Have a good one, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.